Warning, if you are easily offended, we urge you not to listen to this broadcast. You'll only hurt yourself and cry. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Finding the Truth with Myke Hideous. I am your host, Myke Hideous. That would be me. And my co-host, Z, is in the background. Say hello, Z.
Good evening, everybody.
And there he is. So, I have a topic here that I talked about earlier, but didn't really go into details. So, when the hell was it? The Christmas Eve, Sunday, the 24th, I watched a movie that is getting a lot of hits on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. Yeah, I
Leave
forgot
the what behind?
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the world behind. I see.
Leave the world behind.
This is sort of like a give up society type movie and just go out and backpack, or what?
You would think, but however, this movie, I first found out about it from my neighbor, who, by the way, is a relative of Ziggy Marley and Bob Marley. Anywho, but that's not important. So him and I, we have these discussions every once in a while.
You're going to stumble right through that name dropping, and you're not going to pick up anything on that? Okay, fine. We'll come back.
About as much as I know, but he's my Jamaican neighbor.
Anywho, from what I understand of Kingston, this is a much better place to live than Kingston. But in either case, go ahead.
So my neighbor moved in, and we have these discussions every once in a while. He's not political. He's not left or right. In fact, he has no involvement with politics whatsoever, but he has his own...
He's happy to be out of Jamaica.
Yeah. But he does have a conspiracy theory side to him. Nevertheless... About a week and a half ago, he said to me while we were talking out on my driveway, he said to me, yo, man, he says, you got to check out this movie called Leave the World Behind. And so he hooked me up with his Netflix password, because I didn't have Netflix.
Oh, that was generous of him.
Yeah, like I said, he's a cool guy. We've been sharing things with each other. He's a very cool guy. So, where was I? So he tells me to see the movie, and I did. Now, first and foremost, I did a review on the film prior to watching it, literally the day before, on the 23rd.
What do you mean review?
Let me rephrase that.
You looked it up and stuff?
I watched a review of the film.
There you go.
I can't remember the woman's name. But she's like,
pretty?
I don't even know. She's pretty, yeah.
Has long hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her. You're talking.
She had two eyes and two legs too.
There you go. I've seen her. I'm sure.
You've seen one of them, right? I've seen a couple of them. Anyway, I don't even remember what they look like, but I see them on TV. Anyway, so she reviewed this film, and she brought out a couple things that I found to be quite interesting. As well as critiquing the film. Now, I'm not going to be a spoiler and ruin it for anybody who wants to see it. And I have to say, I think it is an important film to watch. Nevertheless, it was produced, I think, executive production and possibly production by Hussein and Michael Obama.
I'm not familiar with those people.
You don't know them? Okay.
Individuals?
What's his name? Barry, and Michelle Obama. Sorry, did I get the names wrong?
I remember Barry Soto and
what
Michelle.
I say? Hussein and Michael? I'm sorry.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. I got it. I remember now.
Okay, little inside joke there. Anyway. So, Did you really get that, or are you busting my balls here?
I'm busting your balls.
Oh, you son of a bitch. So here's what happened. This film is based on a book, which I have yet to read yet. I didn't even know it was out, but I'm going to get that book, and I will read it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the book, based on what I saw in the film, it fascinated me. So here's what it's about. I'm going to break it down. Again, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'm going to break it down. The film is about, in my personal opinion, this film is about the current situations that are occurring right now in the last 3 years, maybe a little longer. But there's no doubt in my mind, like this film, I watched it and there were points that I immediately associated myself with and agreed with, or felt the need to understand more.
So you're saying you literally felt like you were, you could equate or empathize with the characters in the movie.
Yes, particularly the very last, well, not the very last, but one of the last characters that they have in the film, who is played by the guy who was in, what the hell was that movie about dancing back in the 80s?
Do you mean
Footloose? Footloose.
John Travolta? Oh, you mean Kevin
Footloose.
Bacon?
Kevin Bacon. He's the guy who plays this redneck hillbilly guy, prepared with a shotgun, making
just like
sure.
Footloose. Almost.
Yeah, it was very, very similar. But telling these people, stay off my lawn, keep your distance, blah blah blah. I'm prepared. You should be too. And by the way, didn't you pay attention what's been going on for the last couple of years? That guy I immediately related to. Not because I'm some psycho hillbilly schmuck, but because of the fact that I have been preparing since as far back as 2008. And
Wow.
I have been preparing
Good
since
for you.
And I'll tell you why. Because once Obama took office, I sincerely believed that there was going to be a dirty bomb dropped in New York City. Now, that's when I lived in Kearny, New Jersey. I've since moved out of that area into Pennsylvania, away from the cities, particularly New York. I wish I was further, but I can only go so far because this is what I could afford. Point being.
There is that thing. Okay, yeah.
So there are all these little topics, little subjects put into the film about an America that collapses. And right from the beginning, EMPs strike America and knock out the entire communication grid. All
What's
electronic.
the name of the movie again, real quick? Just to make sure the audience hears it.
The name of the film is called Leave the World Behind.
Okay.
I'm going to find out who the author is. I apologize, I don't have that information on me right now. But it seems like it must be a fascinating book. What I was confused about was this. How a former president of the United States, backed a film like this. I mean, when I hear Trump talk, Trump says it right out. We are facing World War III. I currently believe we are in it right now, but he always says we are, maybe he's referring to like a shooting war.
Well, yeah, exactly. It hasn't started, the real land war, real thing hasn't started.
Or will it? It may not even start because we are so technologically advanced with all these abilities to kill other people and destroy property that we may not have to do much groundwork. I'm sure there will be, but think about it. If you set off EMPs and destroy all the connections between Americans, how are we going to function? Because everybody, especially the younger generation, they would die without their fucking cell phones and their iPads.
They're connected to those things.
There's no doubt in my mind that would be the first group of people to go. Because they would have
they wouldn't be able to survive, you mean?
They wouldn't be able to survive. Because everything is on the fucking, Google this, Bing that, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, all this shit. They're so reliant on it that a UFO could fly over their head and they wouldn't even know about it. So what I'm saying is this.
Amazing. Yep.
The possibility that if our communication was taken out, we'd be knocked into the Stone Age. And then, how do you survive? How do you survive this attack. Well, I know I'm ready. I'm
There you
doing
go.
my best.
You're prepared.
I'm doing my very best to prepare my finances, to prepare my ability to at least have food for 3 months, the ability to even try to help my pets out. Weapon-wise, I'd like to think I'm very good for one man. I've got my wind-up radio, doesn't
There
need
you go.
batteries. I've got my straw for
You
having
have
to.
some solar power?
That's the one thing I don't have is solar power. I wish I could afford it, but
Gotta
then
work
again,
on that.
where I live, I've got so many trees around me. I don't even know if I could, get it. But that's besides
Well,
the point.
that's a
besides
different
the point.
issue
That's
altogether.
the whole issue.
So
What
tell
I'm
you
saying,
what we
let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Sure, go ahead.
What I'm saying, the other things that I've got stacks of batteries. I've got stacks of, I've got knives. I've got bullets. I've got guns. I've got everything that I would need to take care of myself in the event, including things like straws to drink dirty
And the
water.
food reserve, food
As I
reserve
said,
and stuff.
right now I'm at. I think I'm at about 3 months. I could get by. I sincerely recommend this movie to everyone. I don't care if you like Obama or not. I think this movie, and if you don't want to see the movie, read the fucking book, because I intend to. And I think you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. There are so many points brought up in this film that I sincerely related to. I found so seriously concerning. What else was I going to say? I didn't like the whole racial thing that they had to throw in there. They even make a comment. Oh, you can't trust white people. I'm like, really, you gotta throw that in
really?
there.
I mean, that's purely a racist statement.
Of course it is, but could you imagine if it was turned around the other way?
Mm-hmm.
And
So
and
here's
the white
wiki
couple
page.
said
I mean, the
you can't trust.
Amazon page.
Right. See now, just to let you know. Who was it? Rumen Alam.
Yep.
I got to get that book. There's a scene in the film where the woman, the Julia Roberts, who's playing the
The author.
Caucasian woman, that's him?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting. I got to find out about him. Anyway, so there's a scene where Julia Roberts, who's playing the mother, the Caucasian mother, she immediately starts making these not comments, but insinuating that just because the black man and his black daughter are there, that she has no reason to believe that the possibility of them owning this house. Yet he's got the keys. He's got the keys to the liquor cabinet. He knows everybody who lives around there, and she continually keeps making it weird for them. But
That's so wrong. I mean, that's such bullshit. Contrived.
That's what they did. That's what they did. So then later on, at one point, when the girl is with her father, the black dude, whose name I can't remember what his name was. I want to say Scott or something. I don't know the name of the actor who played him, the black dude. And his daughter says to her, "You can't trust white people." So, and then later on, there's this real mushy scene where Julia Roberts and the black dude, again, whose name I can't remember, they kind of come to terms, and all of a sudden Julia Roberts is dancing with him, and like she's leaning on his shoulder, giving him a big hug, and I'm like, wow, if I were your husband, I'd be concerned right now. I mean, just weird situations. Anywho,
So
okay,
here's
yeah,
your
right
cast.
there.
Here's your cast.
What's it say? Marshula?
Yeah.
Ali? Him. Great actor. Really good actor. Very good actor. I really liked his part. But I don't know much about him. But again, a typical Hollywood movie that's got to throw race into every frigging topic. I didn't like that. And I will...
Well, especially slamming one particular race. I hate to point it out. It's not like other Hollywood movies have been slamming any other races.
Of course not. Of course not, because it would be racist to make any comments against anybody other than Caucasians, particularly white Christian Caucasian men.
Exactly.
Actually, white and Caucasian is the same thing. That was kind of stupid,
Right.
but
I mean,
you know what I meant.
Part of the narrative is, of course, if if you're white, you're racist by your nature, which
Exactly.
is just a
Yeah,
horrible
that's
thing.
the Obama thing. If you're white, your DNA makes you racist by.
Sure. So you
You know.
can't even help it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that the Nazis had the same thing to say about the Jews.
That's friggin' right. Not only the Jews. Not only the Jews. When
You're
they
not
went
wrong,
to
yeah.
when they went to Africa, they did the same thing to the black people in northern Africa.
Sure.
When they were taking over that area.
They did to any group. I mean, one of the unsung things is like, sure, 6 million Jews died, but there was another 6 million folks
Oh my
that
God.
were just,
Millions.
Christians and gays and
blacks
black or whatever
yeah, all these
ethnic
other
variety that happened to be in Germany at the time.
That's correct. That's correct. And the only reason they didn't try to annihilate Japan was because Japan was so strong at the time and they needed them. But eventually Italy fell because of the weakness, well, not weakness, but just the poor leadership of a dictator like Mussolini. So he gets overthrown. They finally make the right move to side with the Allies, and that's how they get better. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, I'm going to end it this way. Just going to end it off with this. There are a lot of open areas left unsolved. And you don't quite get it. It was like kind of like you don't quite get an answer to them. And then when it comes to the very end, it ended in such a way I thought it was worse than the ending for The Sopranos.
Well, that's saying something there.
It is. Because I'm a big Sopranos fan. And when it ended, I was very upset the way it ended. This film ends just as abruptly and gives you no fucking answers, and you have no idea what happens. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And it ends up with this.
They're leaving it up to the audience.
Yeah, it ends up with just punk rock band playing a upbeat tune, and I'm like, what just happened? What just happened?
Punk rock bands play upbeat tunes. I mean,
so I was very disappointed at the end. I watched for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I watched this film. And at the very end, I was disappointed. The scene with the Teslas was another jab at Elon Musk, who the government has
not
been
necessarily a good guy on the left,
Well, nobody likes him anymore on the left because he speaks his mind.
Well, he bought this platform and took away their, obviously biased,
Thank goodness.
propaganda machine.
Thank goodness for Elon. Let me tell you. Thank goodness for Elon. That man... I may not agree with everything, but he does have an attitude that I can appreciate.
I mean, he is exactly the American experience. He is a immigrant. He believes in free speech. He came from some place that had very restricted speech. And, he's literally championing that cause. And I cannot fault him whatsoever.
And
not to
he started his
he's
business...
created at least 3 really successful businesses that are billion-dollar
from nothing.
companies, so.
He had no
Yes.
money.
From nothing, yes.
He had no money when he started his business. He didn't even take a paycheck. He rolled it over into not stocks, shareholds, and he made billions of dollars. That is the American dream. That is Obama's "Yes, we can."
Well, I would agree, but I'm confused. Obama's "Yes, we can." How do you? mean
remember
that?
Obama's his slogan was "Yes, we can," and
Sure.
in America you can do anything. See, that's what a lot of cultures, and I'm not even going to be specific here because I don't want to be deemed a racist, but that's what certain cultures tend to forget. The country is made for you to take that opportunity and turn it into a gold mine. Whereas some people think today that the government owes them something, that they are entitled for something.
Yes.
And they're not.
You're exactly right. Yeah, it's the land of opportunity. You have to take the opportunity. It's not handed to you on a plate. So
you make your own destiny.
Exactly. But I have to just point out that, you probably could get into something of an argument talking about how that phrase is not necessarily intended for individuals, but more the group. Yes, we can is meant more as a Marxist sort of, mantra. to say the least.
I agree with you.
Yes,
I do.
we can as a group, not necessarily as an individual. Where Elon typifies, like you said before, the American dream. I mean, he came here and he used his genius to make himself what he is today.
That's right.
And going to the step beyond, I brought it up, I think, in our last show, talking about the patent system. If it wasn't because of America having the way for people to take their ideas and patent them, as opposed to any place else on the planet back in the 1700s, where, whatever you came up with became the ownership of your masters or your lords or your king.
That's right.
You can come here and make your own destiny, like, we talked about. So
and why would anyone want to do that under a socialist regime?
You can't.
Why? Right.
You can't really.
Why would you go out of your way to try to be a doctor, a brain surgeon, an inventor, when the government's just going to take it from you?
Exactly. I mean, you can't benefit from it, and it could even harm you coming up with a good idea that's outside the box.
That's right.
Yep.
So maybe it was a bad terminology to use, the "yes, I can" thing. I was just trying to make a point.
I agree. I hear the point, at least.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say.
Again, the key point in that is, I guess, I'm sorry, just to bring it up, is we. And that's where I still appreciate our Constitution and our country for how it's built on individual rights. And it's more about I can do whatever I want to do, not we can. It's not a collective thing, it's an individualist thing. The
sad thing is how we had to hear for 8 years how the Obamas, first of all, how Obama went on an apology tour, and how Michelle Obama was so, she never felt good about being an American, never felt proud about it.
Yeah, she said that out loud. I mean,
because
damn.
Everything was so suppressed. And I mean,
right.
Although
she's a successful woman in her own right, but
people like
things
her
are
and Oprah Winfrey, they're so suppressed as black people.
I think oppressed is the proper word. Suppressed is a whole other thing.
That's what I said, oppressed. Did I say oppressed?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said suppressed.
I'm sorry. If I said
my bad.
Whatever I said, I apologize if I said it wrong. Look, man, all I'm saying is this. We're all equal, okay?
Exactly.
We're all equal. And everybody should have the right to make their own destiny. Affirmative action doesn't help you, okay?
Nope.
Affirmative action is a racist, what would you call it?
Philosophy?
Philosophy, thank you.
Ideology, at least.
Created by what, Nixon?
Wow. Well, we'd have to hit Google to
I'm pretty sure it was Nixon.
I'm
pretty sure it was Nixon. Anywho, I just think it's wrong. I would rather have a person, if I had a heart attack and an ambulance shows up and there's two guys in the truck, one who passed the test with flying colors and one who passed the test because of affirmative action and only passed the test by having affirmative action and didn't get the 10 points that he was supposed to get and only got 5 points. I don't want that guy giving me CPR.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong there.
Lyndon Johnson.
We go. It was Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965.
Well, he's a jerk.
Well, that's for sure. He was a huge jerk, and he couldn't help also bragging about having a big dick. So, I mean, he had that big dick energy, too.
Is that so?
You never heard about that?
I never knew about that.
He literally was known for showing it off in public.
Well, I never liked that guy.
He'd meet somebody, he'd meet a woman, and somehow he'd get there, and then, zip, there you go.
What a jerk.
You ain't kidding.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He replaced JFK, right?
Yep.
Remember the picture on Air Force One?
Sure, when he got sworn in, yeah.
When he gets sworn in and the guy's winking at him over there and he's got a smirk on his face?
There you go. Well, it's because he got the job. And
tell me something ain't going on about that with JFK.
Well, that is a whole nother show we can definitely conquer because there's some new information on JFK and the assassination and all that info. That whole scenario. So definitely that could be definitely good. Mm-hmm. So, let's take a quick break here.
Okay. Hey folks, thanks for listening to Finding the Truth with Myke Hideous. Listen, don't forget to check out all my Hideous merchandise, including t-shirts, blankets, hoodies, CDs, and my book, King of an Empire to the Shoes of a Misfit. It's all available only at MykeHideous.com. And don't forget, that's Myke with a Y, M-Y-K-E, MykeHideous.com.